Are you sure? Oh. I was like, sure, live, and then I saw it pop up.
Oh, I love it when you have those "Are we live?" moments. It's beautiful.
Well, hi everybody. We're a little bit earlier than usual because we're, I guess, excited to talk about this.
Because it's Chrismukkah.
hmm we're talking about the OC season 1, episode 13, the best Chrismukkah ever. So let's roll the credits and we'll jump right in.
You know, when I first watched the OC, this made me wish I was part Jewish so I could have an official Chrismukkah.
Really?
Yeah, I remember being like, man.
This made me remember how much I love Kirsten's hair in season 1.
Oh, yeah,
She
she did have
re-
great hair.
she had really good hair in season 1. I don't
She
know what
was my
happened
favorite
after
character.
that, but
She made someone mad. No.
I was living for her chunky highlights and bangs in this episode.
Oh, the early 2000s with the chunky highlights. Oh, man, it brings back the memories.
She pulled it off really well.
Mhm.
And it's interesting because it's very similar to the haircut they gave Sarah Michelle Gellar for the Buffy Christmas episode, but I didn't like it on her.
Well, she just didn't have the bangs.
But also, chunky highlights weren't a thing in 1998, so
No, not yet. Still
not
a few
yet.
more years to go.
But so anyway, Marissa's a hot mess.
You know, the older I get, the more of a hot mess I think she is.
She is really like chaotic, messy. Ryan is just trying to do the right thing, and all she is doing is bringing him down. I do not ship them.
I don't anymore. Like, I remember being really into Ryan and Marissa, but now I'm just kind of like, Ryan. Maybe it's because when you experience a relationship that's kind of toxic like that, you like, run. I was just like, she's not, she's not gonna stop.
Seth had a lot of like funny one-liners
Yeah.
that I'm sure were not in the script.
Or if they were.
I think he said "Oi humbug." Julie Cooper was in this episode.
Who? Julie Cooper?
Julie Cooper.
She was getting, trying to become Mrs. Cooper Nickel. Really working on it, I love when she which it's not in this episode, she starts calling Kristen Kiki. I'm like, girl. I'm shocked Kristen hasn't just like slapped you.
So we're kind of in the height of the Seth, Summer, Anna triangle. Anna gives him a comic book of him in Captain Oates.
Right, and I was like, oh, that's a good gift. And I didn't remember what Summer's was. I was like, man, I wonder what Summer gets him. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I don't remember that.
She dresses up like Wonder Woman. And she's like, way to go, Wonder Whore. And he's like, don't say that. Wonder Woman's not a whore.
I know, but could you imagine being her? Like, you're like, ooh, I'm going to, I'm going to show I'm into the things he's into in my own way. And then you find out the other girl gives him an actual comic book she drew.
It's intimidating for them both because Summer did look really great. And I'm sure that made Anna feel insecure. Because she probably felt like, I can't pull that off. She even says, comic book, what am I, 8?
And I'm just like, I think that's a wonderful gift.
I was like, yeah, it's very creative.
I would have been like, oh my God, best gift ever.
um, I did notice, and I don't know if I'm reading into it or if it was done on purpose, Kirsten drinking on her own. Like when Sandy came home from work and was blabbing about how negotiations went so well and she had that piece of paper, she was just sitting in their bedroom just having a glass of champagne on her own.
I
I'm
don't
like,
think
was
that
it always there? Was it always in front of me and I just never noticed it?
I don't think it was. I just
No?
think it was kind of, you're seeing it now, so you're like, "Ooh, I wonder if this is where,
So yeah, so I'm
you know,
nitpicking at everything. Like, oh, it
yeah,
was
yeah."
because they do start season 2 off. They have a scene where they just show her by herself and she's pouring herself. Like that was foreshadowing for sure.
I mean, they could have been. I mean, that would be a question for the writers.
That is
But I
true.
feel like with everything else going on, that was probably not even on their mind at the moment.
Yeah. Um, Alan Dale, who plays Caleb, he's always been an older gentleman in my eyes, but he looks really young in this.
I had the
Compared
same
to how he
thought,
looks in Dynasty now and the other things I've seen him in, I'm like, oh, he's still
and I'm
older, but his face looked younger.
like, I'm nothing against his age, no, nothing like that. I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, like, he's just always giving off daddy vibes. I mean, because this show is about 20 years. It's almost been 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's almost been 20 years.
Did you notice the cater waiter from the pilot? The crab and brie feet low?
No.
Yeah, so he comes up to Seth and he says exactly the same thing he says in the pilot, like whatever he's serving. And Seth says something to him like, find a new shtick or come up with something new or whatever, and he just gives him a look. But that actor actually ends up being in the series finale of the show with his husband, and they live in Sandy and
Oh, that.
Kirsten's old house in Berkeley.
Mm-hmm. I feel bad for Ryan. Ryan, poor guy. I love the moment him and Julie Cooper had when they're like, I hate the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And they both just like take a drink.
So Marissa takes Ryan to South Coast Plaza, the mall, to do Christmas shopping, and she shoplifts. And like, does she not get that he's on probation? Like, he cannot be put in these situations. He's gonna go back to prison.
Well, wasn't it his idea to go to the mall? Like he was like, let's go to I got to do some shopping or something.
Yeah, and then she
Well,
steals and gets caught, and she's with him. He could be an
but
accessory to that.
a little bit later, she's like, I guess we shouldn't have come here. I'm like, wait, I was kind of confused. Like, she knew she had no money. Window shopping is not fun.
I like when Julie came storming in, and Jimmy's like, "How is this my fault?" She's like, "Where do you think she learned to steal?"
I was like, I wish you would have been like, little below the belt, Jules.
We find out that Marissa never went to therapy like she was supposed to after the Mexico incident.
There's a little bit though. I thought Julie Cooper. I felt like she was being a really good parent. Like when Jimmy was like, we're talking about what her punishment should be. I was like, she shoplifted.
Yeah, she was like, "Way to roll an iron fist, Stalin." She's like,
I'm like, there's no discussion. That's like a misdemeanor, I think. Maybe I don't know. I don't break laws, and you're just like, we're talking about her punishment. So when Julia was like, no car, no allowance, no weekends, I was like, ooh, get it, mama.
And she's like, I already called the doctor. You going tomorrow morning?
But then she became, typical Julie with the, well, I've got a party. It became about the party again. Like her mom.
She said starting tomorrow because of her party.
It was like her mom moment lasted very short, but it was there. Then we came back to being about her.
She was like, I won't have your sticky fingers ruining my party.
I'm trying to become rich here again.
She called it the most important party of her professional career. Professional what?
I was wondering too. I was like, professional go digger?
Professional housewife?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, because Julie Cooper is, I mean, go digger. That's all she cares about is money.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
like
would do that way
that
too.
Kirsten is kind of like being there as a friend for her though, and like telling her like I'm sure he'll love it, like being supportive or whatever, even though it's her father that she's dating.
Well, but the tree. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to have memories of the tree being in the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whatever. Julie Cooper.
So then Marissa also gets drunk at the party.
I don't know why invite a child. I mean, because she's a child to a party where there's just tons of drinking and she's not supervised.
I mean, she wasn't even drinking the party drink. She brought her own bottle.
Okay, Jimmy, why did you not lock up?
And she's so drunk that when Ryan's like kind of lecturing her, she's just like, "Shut up."
Like,
what?
That's when you know you had too much. You're like, I can't argue because I can't make thoughts form into words. So shut up.
And then she tries to storm off, and it kind of makes a scene because he tries to stop her, and she's like, "Don't touch me!" and like in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then she tries to drive drunk, and she backs into another car. And I'm like, did they work that out before he started to drive her home? Like, did they exchange insurance information? Like, or did he just leave?
That's where your mind goes to as an adult, the insurance.
And then when they get pulled over and she has an open vodka bottle that she hides between her feet. And again, open bottle, minors, him driving. Mm-hmm. She's clearly drunk.
What's probation?
Even if he wasn't drunk, they still would have arrested him or brought him in. And he's just like trying to do the right thing, bring his drunk girlfriend home. I liked when he threw the bottle and was like slamming the door.
I did too. And she's like, "You're scaring me." Well, good.
He was like, "Cops drinking, must be Christmas."
And then Seth decides it's a Chrismukkah miracle because Brian didn't get arrested. It's like, oh, it's a Chrismukkah miracle. You didn't get arrested. Yay. Means there's hope for me and the two girls after all. I feel like they didn't play that triangle out long enough.
Oh, this isn't the end of it. It goes.
Oh no, I know. It still goes for a while, but it could have lasted seasons. Not.
I think it even goes as far as that he ends up dating Anna for a little bit, and then he starts dating Summer. It goes on for at least 12 episodes.
Yeah, but it could have went on longer. I'm just saying.
So Marissa ends up finally going to therapy, and we meet the dreaded Oliver for the first time.
I can't remember his last name, but his last name's Trask. And all I can think of is Melinda Trask from Days of Our Lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is there anyone that's I like named Trask? No.
And then because I can't focus, I kept thinking about everything I've ever seen him in. I was like, he was on Dawson's Creek. He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the sequels. I was like, I know he's in Hidden Palm.
And some other things, I'm sure. I always liked him. I remember kind of having a little crush on him.
I never did.
I don't know why. Well, I mean, once again, I used to be attracted to toxic people. So, makes sense. I'm like Ryan.
I feel like he fell into that little trope of Hollywood where, like, when you're fresh faced and new, you get cast in everything for a couple of years and then you just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I haven't seen him in like a good 10 to 12 years.
I haven't seen him. Yeah, it's been a while. But I liked him. I still like him.
I liked him better than the Johnny character in season 3.
Let's not even talk about Johnny. I still
So
can't.
Seth ends up getting Summer and Anna the exact same Christmas gifts.
You can tell he's never dated. Just going to give them both the Seth Cohen starter package.
And he had a funny line when Kirsten was going over the paperwork and she found something. He's like, "What?" He's like, "Did Grandpa do something? Hookers, cocaine, likes to dance with the white lady." And she's like, "What are you saying?" He's like, "I don't know."
I liked when he said, "I'm just mocking you," and Kristen says something. He's like, "Oh," like he's afraid he's got the Sandy Cohen
eyebrows. He was like, "They're coming in."
And I know that's a running joke in third part of the series.
I don't know if it was an episode we watched or I'm just remembering this, but Sandy says something like eyebrows are a sign of power, and he was like, "Then you must be the most powerful man in Newport."
He's got those. JR had some very powerful eyebrows too at the new series, because it's all I could focus on.
And they had them like, I don't know, it's like almost like they twisted them and combed them.
It was like they do for the beard when it's the evil and they twist it out, but it was his eyebrows, like his eyebrows.
I know, it was weird.
And it's all I could focus on.
I know.
I was like, I'm trying to watch this show, but JR's eyebrows are all I can see.
I know. But yeah, so at the end, Ryan kind of has a nice family Christmas. Go ahead.
I did have a question, because we skipped quite a few. Well, not quite. I guess we didn't skip much, but it feels like we skipped a lot. Ryan's brother's out of jail.
No, he's still in jail.
How did he send Ryan a present?
I thought that too, but I let it go.
Say you let it go?
Yeah. When she said, "Oh, the present's from Ryan's brother and his mom," I'm like, "He's in prison. How do you do that?"
I was just thinking, oh, maybe he just got out and I'm just not realizing it. But okay.
No, he gets out when they recast him in season 2.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess I'd like to know how that worked. Maybe his mom bought something and just said, "Oh, from Trey."
Yeah. Right.
Granted, if she couldn't really be a mother, I doubt she can. I'm not gonna be mean. I have issues with parents that abandon their kids.
There was a moment when Jimmy was asking Marissa how he looked for the job interview, and I felt like he held up the same tie or similar ties. I was like, what? I never liked Jimmy.
I wasn't a huge fan. But yeah, that's all I've got. I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't miss him.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Kristen thinks she's about to get fired because she gave Sandy that paper.
Which I guess technically is illegal. Caleb called it
espionage, he says.
Yeah. But then I'm just like, but what you're doing, isn't that just as illegal? I don't know anything about business law, so.
Well, that's what she said to him. She's like, it would have been worse if it came out later on. Like, I saved you, like, the embarrassment or whatever. But I like how he twisted it and was like proud of her. He's like, you might just be a real estate mogul again.
I thought this. I was like, yeah. She was always daddy's little girl. You could tell.
She's like, well, that's comforting.
You can tell her and Sandy were meant to be because their sense of humors are pretty much like which that's how they're written. I know, but
I liked when in the beginning when Seth was trying to explain Chrismukkah to Ryan, and he was like, "I get the best of both worlds." He's like, "My father, a struggling Jew from the Bronx, my mother, a wasp from Newport. She's like, I'm not a wasp.
What is? I didn't know what he meant by wasp.
It stands for something. It's like white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay. I had no clue. I was like wasp. I'm gonna go with it. About knowing.
I think that's what it stands for. I'm not, or I'm pretty close.
These are your. I mean, some of us know.
But yeah, I always forget how funny, especially the first season was. They really were firing on all cylinders.
I felt like they felt like they had something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one, he was the youngest person to ever be given a show, and two, they had that teen drama. Like, and there's always stigma with like, oh, it's just a teen drama, but they're also following Beverly Hills, not like to be like, oh, you've got to be the next 90210. That's got to be some pressure.
Do you think they viewed the OC, One Tree Hill, as a threat?
I don't think the OC viewed One Tree Hill as a threat, but I know One Tree Hill, not maybe the actors, but like
the network.
Well, no, it was this, probably the network, because they're both done by Warner Brothers.
Oh, they are.
Mm-hmm. So I bet the network was kind of like, we've got to compete with well, on Drama Queens they talk about that. That's why One Tree Hill got a little sexy, they call it.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that still makes One Tree Hill the superior show is more relatable. I can't relate to a single character on the OC. I mean, I enjoy it, but I can't relate to them.
Yeah, no, there isn't anybody. I was like, maybe Ryan, but I don't really come from a broken home like him.
I mean, maybe the waiter that's working in the background, I can relate to that person. But of the main cast, no, I can't relate to anyone.
Gotcha. Did One Tree Hill ever do a Christmas episode?
I don't think they did. They kind of stayed away from holidays.
I remember in season 8 is when they did all the holidays. They did Halloween, they did Thanksgiving, they did Valentine's Day. But I don't think they ever did Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Because they usually went on like their mid-season break before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back in January.
Which I don't yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Yeah. But well, it kind of went, I think it's because of how they broke up the years too, when you think about it. Yeah. Since season 1 would have been the first half of junior year, Christmas would have been our season finale.
Yeah, that's true.
That way, so probably makes sense why we didn't do Christmas.
Anything else you could think about with this episode?
I'm thinking. So at this point, when you watch the show, who were you rooting for? I know this doesn't go with the episode, but I'm just talking about
couples wise.
Couple wise, who did you want Seth Cohen with?
I think Summer.
See, I really think I was Anna, but Summer was still.
I have a thing for brunette women.
I flip flop. I'm versatile when it comes to brunettes or blonde. I think it was Anna who until Summer started really becoming her own. She's almost there. Like she's still got a little bit of that pre-Summer from like the beginning of the series.
Uh-huh.
But she's almost got to that point where it's like, oh my God, I love Summer.
I think when she kissed him before they went to Mexico is when I started to really like kind of want them together.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I was like, oh, she's starting to change. She's starting to see him for him. And then like it was a slow progression. I did like Anna. I wasn't just like, oh, Anna needs to go. Like, and I did see that they had a lot in common. But I don't know. I think I was always Team Summer.
I wasn't. I don't think.
And I was always Team Julie Cooper.
I always loved Kristen.
I always love Kristen too, and Zandy.
Oh
yeah, I like most of the adults except for Jimmy.
I didn't care for Caleb.
Yeah, but he came in and out enough that I could tolerate him. He wasn't always in every episode.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the biggest Marissa fan, but I tolerated her.
I wasn't either. I think I was more of a fan when I was a teenager, but watching it back now as an adult, I'm like,
yeah,
why did teenage Aaron ever care for this character? I mean,
well, now I'm like, stay away from her, Ryan. She's gonna ruin your life.
That's where I'm at too. I'm like, Ryan's such a good boy. If we can just keep him away, like I feel like Kate Roberts from Days. How can I get, how can I keep him?
I was like, whatever happened to that girl Lindsay in season 2? She was a nice girl.
I loved Lindsay. I did. I was a fan of Lindsay. I was mad how they brought on those 4 characters in season 2, and pretty much by the end of season 2, they were gone.
There was 4. Yeah.
There was the gardener.
Yeah, the gardener, Alex, played by Olivia Wilde, Zach, and Lindsay.
I really enjoyed the feel of season 2. So I was a little like, I thought it was good to bring in some new characters to kind of add to our group because there was only 4.
Yeah.
Core characters and
they wrote Luke off.
Oh man, some good things happening.
Oh, so how would you rate the episode?
I'll give it an 8. I mean, because
it was a solid episode. It's not their best episode, but it was a solid episode.
Well, I mean, too, because they pretty much, I mean, not so much now because you don't hear it anymore, but at that time, Chrismukkah was something that was talked about I heard it so much. You could tell who watched the OC because.
Oh yeah, it definitely became a pop culture phenomenon. I would say for at least 5 years after this.
Yeah. Yeah, not anymore. We should really bring it back.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd agree with that. An 8's a good number.
It's funny. Enjoyed it. You could almost dip in without having to have seen too much going on. Maybe, but it's hard for me to say that because I've seen it.
Yeah, so you don't need to be filled in.
Yeah, it's like I don't need to be filled in. It's like when we watched the Beyond Salem. I knew so much going in. I would almost like to watch a show that I could just jump in to see.
Like a random teen drama you haven't seen before.
Just jump in. Just jump in where someone's like, oh no, you could watch this episode without having to see anything else. I need someone to tell me that. Find me a show that I can do that and try it because I want to see, can I?
You're like, I've seen every show. I've seen all the shows.
I've seen so many shows. And I don't mean like a cop show or so. I want something where it's like, if you don't follow the show.
Yeah.
So I need someone to find me that.
All right. Well, next week is our official season 1 50th episode.
Woohoo! We made it to 50. Should we get a cake? No, just kidding.
It is also serving as our season 1 season finale for Queers and Soaps. But don't worry, we'll be back the following week with season 2 premiere. We won't be gone long.
You'd miss us too much. It's funny. the podcast, The Passions for Life I'm listening to,
Uh-huh.
I went and it said like they're taking a break. It said school's out. And then I was listening to it was like a little trailer kind of. We'll be back in the fall with more Passions for Life. I'm like, it's almost 2022. Granted, I still have like 50 episodes to get through.
Oh, have they not released any new episodes?
No, which I don't know why I'm mad because I'm just on episode 4.
Well, isn't Natalie on a new show? Maybe she's too busy
She
working.
is, and it's a really good show. I tweeted them and they didn't respond, and I'm a little sad. She liked one of my tweets
when they both weren't working.
She liked one of my tweets one time about our Dirty Sexy Money stuff, but then I was watching this Passions clip because I love the theme song of Passions. So sometimes I go and listen to it. There's a part where they say like Teresa's giving birth, and it's like breathe in, breathe out, and then they're singing, "I hands of the one leak da da da," and then Teresa, Gwen, and Ethan are all singing the theme song. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, you sent it to me, but I've seen it.
See, I watched so much stuff I can't remember. So, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so our 50th episode is going to be dedicated to Venice, the series, season 2, starring the beautiful Crystal Chappelle.
Crystal Chappelle.
So maybe we should do a drinking game and see how many times Aaron says Crystal Chappelle.
I have Trader Joe's wine. I don't know if that's people be like Trader Joe's wine. It's a margarita wine or something.
We might be shit-faced by the end of the episode.
We need to do that with Passions. That would be a fun one.
Okay, so on a Saturday night.
That's probably gonna need to be a Friday night because we need both days to recover. So.
But okay, so until next week, like, subscribe, follow us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps, and this is we're live, so this is definitely before Christmas. So happy holidays to anybody that celebrates Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Merry Chrismukkah, or Happy Chrismukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all the holidays.
Hanukkah's over already.
Well,
you missed it.
I'm a Chrismukkah person, so.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you again next week for our season 1 finale. Bye.
Bye.